What's cooking, Juventus fans? Welcome back to your old lady's favorite YouTube channel. Today we've got a packed show. Pick your topic, whatever you want to talk about. We're probably covering it, be it Pogba, Ihattaren, any of the players coming in, going out, whatever have you. We've got it covered. It's a packed show, so let's not dilly-dally. Stick with us. We'll fill you in now. Ciao ragazzi, welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone. My name is Justin Sofro. Today is Wednesday, November 10th, 2021, and of course I have your latest rundown of all things Juventus. Before we do anything, go ahead and hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos as well. And also, let's go ahead and discover this now, so I don't have to say it later in the video. If you want to, make sure you follow us on our social media platforms. That'll be here in the graphic below. That'll tell you everywhere that you can follow us, mainly on Twitter, of course. Anyway, let's just go ahead and jump into it and get you the news that we have for you. Let's start off with the big one, the big bang, shebang-a-bang, if you want. And that is Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting that Paul Pogba is said to have recently told Mino Raiola that he would prefer a return to Juve rather than a move to PSG or Real Madrid, even if it means giving up some money if the contract is for 3 years. Now, that is a big, big deal. If that is what the sports reporting, and if that is true, then that would be a huge bonus that Juventus could get in the long term for the midfield. Obviously, you want to have Paul Pogba back. Main problem is even if he's taking a contract cut of some sort, is Juventus still going to be able to pay those wages that Paul Pogba is going to request? I understand Ronaldo's gone. That should have opened up some of the financial aspects there and the wages being paid. But does Juventus have the money to pay Paul Pogba what he deserves or what his market value is? That's the one thing that I'm still unsure about. I know a lot of you dream and hope that Paul Pogba returns to Juventus. I do as well, but I still don't want to get my hopes up there when it comes to I'm trying to be realistic. But I'd like to watch this and monitor it and see if more if this seems to build in the future and it seems to become more and more likely that Pogba could return. But there's so many names right now when it comes to the midfield that Juventus is looking at, maybe cheaper options, maybe options long-term that you could flip. So we'll see what Juventus does in the future. But let's just go ahead and leave it at that. Paul Pogba still in the books when it comes to Juventus that it could happen. All right, let's move on to the next midfielder name, and that's Tchouameni. You know, like I said, we're getting everybody. We got Tchouameni, we got Witsel, we got Zakaria. We're talking about everybody. McKennie's future, whatever have you. Corriere dello Sport is saying that the dream is Tchouameni, but it's unlikely that Monaco will open to a loan with an option in January. And for the reasons, the context for Witsel, Paredes, Villar, Zakaria, and Kamada are kept alive with an eye on possibly bringing back Rovella. That's some interesting. There's a lot of interesting pieces there to this one statement from Corriere dello Sport. Obviously, I'm very big on the prospect of bringing back Rovella, an Italian youth who's really showing that he's turning it on and looks really good at Genoa. He's easily their best player, obviously not on a great Genoa team, but he's a really good player overall. Hopefully he can come into Juventus and do some special things. But I think as it stands right now, we've talked about it plenty on the channel, I don't see him coming back in January. I see more than likely he won't come until the summer once that deal is done, unless something works out with Genoa. Anyway, when it comes to Tchouameni, yeah, it's not going to happen in January. We understand now that really, as much as we like to dream and hope that all these names are going to get coming in January, if we're looking at the likes of Tchouameni and then Vlahovic, of course, those are going to be summer deals that'll have to get done. So we'll have to monitor that for the future. Continuing on with the Tchouameni talk, though, Nicola Schira is saying that Juventus are still interested in Aurélien Tchouameni, who is the main target for the midfield. Cherubini wanted him last summer, but Monaco rejected Juve's bid, loan with an obligation to buy upon reaching certain conditions. Again, we know this. He is definitely the main target for the midfield. Whether this is likely to get done, we'll see, especially now at more and more competition will end up appearing and arising to try to get the French internationals' attention. Let's move it on. Corriere dello Sport's also talking about, now we're going to Witsel. Yeah, we're moving on to Witsel talk now. And it's like I said, this is a big video with a lot of names and a lot of stuff. A lot of news really just popped up today. I was not expecting it. I don't know if you were. Anyway, Witsel is still an option for Juve. The end of the contract is approaching, and it will take very little to convince Dortmund. Allegri likes him, but the management no longer wants to invest in 30-year-old plus players. And this is a difficult one for me because I do see the positives and I see what Witsel brings and what he could really, he could be an asset for Juventus. But again, where we are right now at Juventus is in a stage of rebuilding. We want success, but we're rebuilding, and you're doing that through the youth. You want to have multiple years on the future to use these players, but also you don't want to get stuck with more deals with aging players that, you know, could be injury prone. They could be whatever have you, and they could be sitting out for multiple games, multiple months. When you look at, just look at the list that Juventus has. I'm trying to avoid doing the thing of calling out specific players that are frustrating, but they frustrate us all. You know who I'm talking about. So yeah, I kind of agree with them, and that's why we kind of want to move toward more. If you want to give Allegri his guy, the guy that Allegri likes, that apparently there are two names that he likes, Witsel, and then the next guy we're going to talk about. Let's just go ahead and move on to that one while we have it up. And that would be Zakaria would be the guy more that I would be leaning toward. If you want to make Allegri happy and get a guy that he likes that he would bring into the club, it would be Zakaria for me. Two Sports reporting that Zakaria is a name that is taking off for Juve's midfield. With his contract expiring with Gladbach, there have been new contacts. The Serie A intrigues him a lot, and besides Juventus, Roma also like him a lot as well. But there's also interest from the Premier League. Of course, a lot of these players, there's going to be rumors when it comes to the Premier League, when it comes to other Serie A clubs going to try to pounce for these guys. But I think if you have to look at the two, Witsel on one hand, Zakaria on the other, which one are you going to pick? Me personally, and I know Witsel's a solid player, but I would go for Zakaria just because he's younger and he has more of a long-term option there when it comes to Juventus. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's move on to the next one, and that is our own player, Weston McKennie, and talk about his future. Gazzetta dello Sport is saying that Weston McKennie looks set to leave in January a short time ago, but nothing is so certain now. We've talked a lot about this on the channel recently. Even if in front of a good offer, anything can happen. Wait, let's look at the phrasing's weird. Even if in front of a good offer, anything can happen. So anything can happen, even if there's a good offer that comes for McKennie. A team that remains interested, of course, is Tottenham. Paratici is interested in Weston McKennie. He brought him in to Juventus. Of course, he's going to be interested in bringing him into Tottenham as well. But the basic gist of what this news story from Gazzetta dello Sport is reporting is now it looks more and more likely that there's a possibility that Weston McKennie can be retained at Juventus, that maybe Allegri or whoever, Tchouameni or whatever, will decide to keep him for a little bit longer, at least maybe throughout the season, maybe going into next season. We don't know yet, but he's definitely played up to snuff in the last 4 or 5 games. To be listed as one of the better midfielders Juventus has had, thankfully. We've needed it in the stretch. So it's a situation to monitor there. Let me know if you would prefer to see Weston McKennie remain with the club for now. Corriere dello Sport is saying that if a good offer comes in for Dejan Kulusevski, he could already leave in January. The good offer be about 35 million euros is what Juventus value him as a good option to sell him for. In the summer, there was an interest in the player. It remains to be seen if a club will come this January. Again, my problem with all these news stories is a lot of them come out and they're just kind of nonsense. And I understand you have to make news sometimes when news is slow. It's not that slow today, but sometimes you have to make news. And I understand. We've kind of known that Kulusevski seems to be an option out there that other places might be interested in, that maybe they could try to, purchase him for, and then try to maybe clear some of that room up for Juventus to clear some space up. It would be an option for Juventus to sacrifice him to try to bring in more players. Like I said, if you need money, if you need space, that's how you can get guys like Tchouameni or whatever have you, Zakaria, etc. Especially if you're not selling McKennie. Let's move on. I'm gonna stop saying let me know in the comments until we get to the end of this because there's a lot. Like I said, it's a long stream of news stories, so I'm trying to move through these as quickly as possible. Then Corriere dello Sport is saying that Mino Raiola is expected to be in Torino soon to discuss the future of Bernardeschi. The club is now open to giving him a deal. So again, the club is opening. I don't know why I'm just going to repeat it. But yeah, clubs becoming more and more, I don't want to say likely, but more open to the thought and the dialogue and the line of bringing him back for another season or two. I just would be interested in seeing how much money. My personal opinion, obviously, has been for a while not to renew the deal, unless you can get something really, really cheap. But even then, you're not winning Champions League or Serie A even with guys like Bernardeschi. 2 goals in however many seasons or whatever it's been is not going to get the job done. So it's not a priority to me. If he gets another deal, fine, but it better be cheap. Tudo Sport. I know you guys are leaving in the comment section down below about why do you hate Burn? I don't hate Burn. I've actually been a defender of his for a long time. All right, Tudo Sport is talking about Vlahovic, saying that Vlahovic remains the number 1 target for the attack. But the competition is high. The first alternative remains Benfica's Darwin Nunez, I think. However, the management will have to decide the future of Morata. There have been contact with Atletico to lower the price. Obviously, they want to lower the price if you're going to get Morata. But at this point, if you can get Vlahovic, I'm sorry, my guy. I have love for Morata. I like him as a player, but Vlahovic, Morata at this point. Vlahovic is the option. You get Vlahovic if you can get him. I don't know too much about Benfica's Nunez. You let me know if you like that player overall. But to me, I think the option should be Vlahovic, especially if reports seem to be high that he likes Juve, that he wants to go play for Juve. There's a lot of rumbling when it comes to that. So to me, I wouldn't go for another option until that option seems to be dead. Next up, now we can talk about the guys that I was alluding to earlier. And Gazzetta dello Sport saying that, again, Ramsey could leave the club on a free, but with Juventus not paying him out, for Rabiot, the Premier League remains a legit option. So some positives there, obviously, with saying that Ramsey could leave the club without Juventus paying him. So I'm interested to see that, how that would work out if, Cherubini, I guess trusting Cherubini at this point, we'll see. And then Rabiot going to the Premier League. Those would be options to sell again. Ramsey, Rabiot does not seem to be fitting in Allegri's system, so I'll leave it at that. Another guy that could be going on the outs when it comes to Juventus, and I'm not trying to just be negative on players right now, is Luca Pellegrini, and that is Fanatic is reporting that Luca Pellegrini's future remains in the balance. The player could leave Turin during the next transfer window with, every time I try to name this one, it's so frustrating. Trabzonspor, right? Trabzonspor, maybe? I don't know. I'm always terrible at pronunciations with that. I apologize. Showing some interest. So it's an option for Luca Pellegrini. We've kind of been under the idea here at the Bianconeri zone that more than likely Luca Pellegrini will be on the outs, will be moving in the January transfer window. He doesn't seem to be really fitting there at the left back position behind Alexandro. I honestly think as long as De Sciglio's healthy, he's a better option than Pellegrini is right now. Unfortunately, I never thought I'd be saying that, but it seems to be true for now. So more than likely, he'll be going out somewhere. And then we've got to get to the Ihattaren situation, which at this point, I'll be honest, I don't care at all about Ihattaren. Can I be honest? I don't care about the player. I don't care about his situation. I don't care what's going on there. But we're going to talk about it just because I don't like all the nonsense that's been going on around him. Raiola, talking, I guess, with Voteball International. I'm going to leave that in there because I don't know. Says, from me, not a bad word about Ihattaren, and if he still wants my help, I will help him. But it's true that we haven't had any contact with him for a while. So, yeah, it's just been an absolute debacle when it comes to Ihattaren and his situation. You're literally getting paid millions, or however, I don't know what his contract's worth, I'll be honest. Maybe $1 million, or maybe a little bit more, I don't know. But whatever he's getting paid a lot of money, a lot more money than you or I more than likely are making regularly to play a sport, or to not play a sport right now, to not even show up. But there's a second part to this. Let's really talk about that. I think this is covering it. If not, I'll say it. Basically, Voteball International saying, when we confront Raiola with reports in the Italian media that Ihattaren wants to stop playing football, the agent does not want to confirm that Ihattaren has told him that. The agent does want to confirm that Ihattaren told him that, not. What exactly happened that made Ihattaren decide to do so is also a big mystery to Raiola. That's the part that I guess if I had to have some interest in that, that's where I get interested. Like, what could have happened to this kid to make him be like, I don't even want to play the sport anymore? At first I thought it was just Sampdoria, but now he doesn't even want to play the sport. So either Ihattaren is mentally weak, not a competitor. Sorry, I mean, these are harsh words, but they're true. I mean, he's a Juventus player that he's purchased, but he's not a Juventus player, so I don't mind saying these things. Either that, or there's something else going on more serious. Is there a family issue? Is there a girlfriend? Is there a whatever have you? Is there some kind of, or is there something more sinister going on behind the scenes that I don't know is going on with him personally? That's what I wonder. That's where my intrigue comes from in this situation, because it's such an odd story, such a weird sequence of events to make somebody just say, I don't even want to play football anymore. It's weird. Also goes on to say that Raiola advised Ihattaren against the transfer abroad because in his eyes he was not ready. It's confirmed this within PSV, but the footballer himself did not want to go to Feyenoord, FC Utrecht, or another Dutch club. So that's the situation when it comes to Ihattaren. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any thoughts about that, or if you have any idea of what may be going on with this player. It's kind of a wild story, if we're being honest. All right. And I apologize. I've got sniffles and stuff going on today. I'm going to go ahead and leave that in there. It's allergy season. I realize for all of you guys who have been saying in the videos, Justin's sick. Are you sick? I'm like, I realize what it is now. I was in Florida for a week and I felt amazing. Nothing at all. Came back to Kentucky. It's where I live. It's just the worst area for allergies, and that's what's going on. Sorry. All right. Giovanni Albanese was talking about Chiellini, saying Chiellini returns to Catanassa. He will be assessed by the Juventus medical staff, with whom he will continue his recovery from injury. Not really super surprising there. And then also Chiellini was talking Tuesday days in Italia. So basically, first off, he's returning. We'll see the extent of his injury, how that goes along from there. We'll see. We'll monitor that for the situation, especially so that way he can recover and get back in that rotation at Juventus. But if we know anything by now, I'll just make this statement. Juventus, De Ligt needs to be starting anyway. So just rotate between Chiellini and Bonucci when they're real healthy. Leave De Ligt in. We're good. All right. Then continuing on with Chiellini, he was talking with Days in Italia, and he said, we have to talk about it all together, about the player, and the players have to be the protagonists. We are certainly well paid, and we know it, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be taken into account in these discussions. We are the protagonists, and we don't want to take attention away from the others. But we've seen these South American players who make endless journeys and don't even return in time for the game. It's a lack of respect for everybody. So a lot of this has to do with him talking about the situation when it comes to. I know there were a lot of comments. There were actually a long thing about Chiellini, more comments that he made than just what we have here. But he was talking about ideas about the Super League. He was talking about a lot of different things, really commenting on American sports, basically saying about how American sports, NBA, NFL, or whatever, those are super leagues, basically. It's a super league where you have the best of the best all together. MLS, or not MLS, sorry. Not MLS. Okay, this is real football, not MLS. I meant MLB, Major League Baseball, stuff like that, where the best of the best compete against each other consistently, and you don't have the lower level. That's why I almost kind of look at, I guess one of the reasons I kind of love European football is because with like Serie A and teams like that, where you have relegation and promotion, you get a lot of things kind of similar to like college sports, where you get the lower level teams that have nots that can compete at higher levels than like you would in any other kind of situation. Anyway, though, he's talking about the benefits of it, though, and what it really means to create like a super league would be a big deal, because then you get better options when it comes to people coming and going. The reason I go into that is the second part where he said about the South American players who make endless journeys and don't even return in time for the games. It's a lack of respect for everybody. It is a big problem. It's a big problem with the way they organize the way the game is done, the way the international breaks are done. It works if you're a European player. It's because all this stuff set up when obviously more European players are playing than players from South America, or whatever have you, where it takes way longer to get back, especially when the games are scheduled on that Saturday, but then they need to be back by, or that Friday or Thursday or whatever it is, but they need to be back by Sunday or whatever for the restart of the season. So some good points from Chiellini. It definitely shows where his mind is, and it definitely shows that whenever he does decide to hang up his boots, which it looks like in the next couple of years, then he'll be ready to step into that management role and really get to working, in the suit aspect of it, and the front of office kind of setup is the way I look at it. Let's move on to Morata, though, and his comments. Morata was talking to, I guess it was El País, and he was saying, I was away for almost a month. He talks about difficult moments in his life, basically, right now. I was away for almost a month, and in the rush to get back, I wasn't feeling well physically. I had to work a lot for the team, and I wasn't bright enough to score goals. In the last few games, I played on the left, almost covering the flank. The important thing is to play and to do what the coach asks. Obviously, I'd like to play better and score more goals. Before the injury, I was fine. It was difficult for me to come back. I'm trying to think exactly the best way to put it, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking when I hear this. I don't want to say it's excuse making, but it's just, this is how I'm feeling. It's been rough. It's been rough trying to hurry to get back. I'm not back at my full whatever potential. I guess this is what you say in these situations. I don't really take much from it. I don't think it's like a very really earth-shattering comment to make. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, we get it. Morata, anyway, continuing on, he says, we're not having a good time in Serie A. You're not going to have a good time. We're not having a good time in Serie A, but there's a great group. It's very difficult to get to the top, but we've done it before. We have to be objective and try to get into the Champions League position first and then look ahead. Without Ronaldo, we're all under pressure as I'm on loan. It may be that people talk and look at me more, but when you're not the master of your own destiny, the only thing you can do is work. Again, nothing super, super interesting in what he's saying, but I guess overall what I took from him was just kind of saying, we're not playing really well. He's acknowledging that he's not playing well, that the team's not playing well, that they have to look at it and try to get back to the Champions League first. And that's what really their goal is, to be finish top 4. And then if for some reason they can claw back from there, we'll see. My opinions on it. And then talking about Ronaldo, just saying that we're under pressure. I don't know if I'm even going to be here a year from now, kind of situation, which is honestly true, especially as more and more Vlahovic rumors heat up. We'll see if he is going to be here or not. But hopefully he can get his mindset back and ready to do something. I don't know what you want me to tell you when it comes to Morata. I like Morata. He's been a solid. He's usually, guaranteed 20. I don't say guaranteed. He's usually about 20, 25 goals, all competitions throughout the season. But he's just been kind of lackluster as of lately. And hopefully he can get back going. And I don't know if an injury is really the excuse for that. Anyway, that's all I really have for you today. I say that's all, but that was a lot to go through. If you have any further questions or comments, let me know in the comment section down below, and we can talk about it there. Also, if you haven't already joined our member squad, there's a link in the section down as well, and then you can join the member squad. You can join the Discord, and we have constant communication. And it's basically a big text group Discord there where we can all chat and have fun and do all that there. So make sure you join the member squad if you haven't already. All the videos you have that you see here, all the lives that we do are all brought to you by our members, and we appreciate each and every one of them. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as well as smash that, just hit the bell icon as well. You'll stay up to date with our latest notifications, because sometimes YouTube's not the best at sending out notifications as soon as a video drops. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you later. Forza Juve, Forza Bianconeri.